Oh. And we're live. Welcome to Strikeout Beer with your pals Alan and Rapid Dave. I'm Alan.
I'm Rapid Dave.
How you doing, buddy?
Phenomenal.
Phenomenal. Busting out the phenomenal.
I'm telling you right now, it's been a great day. We've gotten some Kenobi in. We've been drinking some good beers, having some good chats. Those pre-game chats and
They're
pre-game beer reviews are the blast. How you doing?
Make sure all of you guys coming in, if you're over there on Twitch, host up. Push that host button.
Mr. Coffee Bean in the house, Brew with Games in the house. What is going on? How are we doing?
Let's see here. We got Mr. Dylan Moran's in the house already.
That's weird.
Lizzie, Brews with Games, Mr. Coffee Bean. What's going on, everybody?
He's never like that.
Blue assholes in here. Where are all the stickers and crap on your desk?
We do.
Oh, he doesn't have his cover on his laptop.
Yeah, I don't have it on today.
Yeah. That's what's going on with that. So the stickers are right there. And same thing with me. I got a new laptop and I don't have a case for it yet.
I broke this case. So it doesn't.
Michigan Latte, what's going on? We're live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, TikTok. We're all over the place.
But you wouldn't believe that, we do this every week and yet here we are, just can't keep it together.
No. Why would we do that?
Where the hell is my mouse? Where the hell's my mouse?
It's right there next to you.
No. The actual cursor on the screen. Look, dude, I'm like feverishly searching around.
Searching everywhere. Let me tell you guys, I've been waiting for this episode since the last time we had this guy on.
It's been a year to like this past
last week.
Yes.
It's been a year. We did, if you guys don't know what we're talking about, tonight we're talking Sasquatch, Nessie, Champ. What was the other guy? Oh My Pogo.
I don't know what that is.
Oga Pogo.
When you said that,
Ogo Pogo or something.
Oingo Boingo.
Not Oingo Boingo. We're not talking Oingo Boingo.
You got me so excited. I was like so excited.
We are talking all about the sea monsters.
I was so excited.
Ogo Pogo.
And then you ruined it for me.
Ogo Pogo. There we go.
Quit saying Ogo Pogo. I swear to God, I'm going to clock you.
It's official.
All right.
We got word from the expert himself.
Oh, okay. Cool.
In the private chat there. So if you see that, you can see that there. I could see him there. He was just struggling with us saying that wrong repeatedly, time after time after time. And we're not talking about Champ from the Mavs. No.
Is that the name of the horse?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's the name of the horse. We're talking about the sea monster.
I never heard of her.
Well, you're going to hear about her tonight. Her, him, I'm not sure. We'll find out though. But before we get to that,
We'll have to chat with him or her to talk about it.
I'm pretty sure he identifies as a him.
I don't know.
We'll get pronouns before we start.
Jesus, Dylan Busby's about the short
man,
circuit
I'm so
right
glad
now.
Dylan's here right now. I love it when Dylan's here.
He's about the short circuit.
Not Dylan Moran, but Dylan Busby.
We know too many Ryans and too many Dylans.
We're
all stocked up.
Too many.
We're all stocked up.
So what are we drinking?
Tonight we are having
a special beer for a special episode.
Got this from what they call Canada, but it's in Sherman, Texas. 903 Brewers Sasquatch Imperial Chocolate Milk Stout. Holy crap. You get a little bit. There you go. A little bit of read on the side there. Yeah, got some words. You got some words.
A big brew with a big name. Sasquatch pours dark as a night with a khaki head, brewed with chocolate malt, giving it a full and balanced flavor of bittersweet chocolate and espresso. Heavy additions of milk, sugar make for a creamy mouthfeel. But watch out. This rich and luscious stout lives up to its namesake. Pairs with smoked meats.
Oh, I like smoked meats.
Chocolate.
OC.
And mischief.
I like to get down with some mischief.
And probably for the first time ever in Strikeout Beer history, we are drinking from the recommended glassware.
Is it finally? We got the snifter?
It's right there.
Nice.
It's got a picture of the snifter there. So yeah. Brews with Games. I'll need to go pick up a 4-pack of that Friday. It sounds good. They have different variations of the Sasquatch, and everyone I've had has been delicious. So
I can't find like an actual urban legend or whatever section on Twitch to put this on. So we're just gonna go under
chatting.
You know what? Let's do chatting, because I did talk shows and podcasts, but let's do just chatting, because that's where we end up being.
Looks delicious.
We just kind of chatty.
But I think we've. Oh man.
Well, now I'm not excited.
No, that's like, it's got a good mouthfeel, like it said.
You like putting so much stuff in your mouth that aren't vegetables, though. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird the stories that you tell me, but yeah, you don't put you don't like anything. Oh boy. Looks like maple syrup.
This is coming from Vegetarian Rapid Dave.
Who's vegetarian?
I mean, you're sitting here talking about me cramming things in my mouth
that
aren't vegetables.
I mean, every so often I do a little veggie.
Okay.
What's up, boys? What do you do here? What would you say you do here?
Drink beer and BS.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
We're gonna talk about Bigfoot, Loch Ness monster. We'll have a little fun, but I think
we do a lot of mom talk too.
Yeah. How's your mom doing tonight? Hope she's doing well.
How's your mom?
Well, still dead.
Oh, okay. Just want to make sure. Yeah. I'm on zombie watch because Lizzie's been watching a lot of zombie movies lately. So I'm cocked and loaded. You know what I mean? Like, I got a weird, this bat that I got a bunch of nails in the garage.
Yeah.
Chainsaws. You can't use conventional weapons against zombies.
Yeah.
But I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead and break the
Rapid
great
Dave
news.
is a Dallas Stars fan. I don't mind the Dallas Stars. I'm more of a Red Wings fan.
I've been told that I'm not a fan. I'm a part-time fan.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm like, I'm kind of like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, let's, in his defense, in all sports, he's a fair weather fan.
So,
right?
I knew you had. I knew that was going to have a kick when you pulled that BS on me. All right, let's get it.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, let's welcome the much anticipated return. People have been chomping at the bit for this guy to get back on here.
Chanting his name.
After the highly successful, probably best episode we've ever done, Alien episode, he's back. We're talking Sasquatch, Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, Champ, you name it. Let's welcome Mr. Lee Knox to the show.
It's one of those.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
What up?
What is going on, sir? It's been a while. You've moved since we talked to you.
Yes, I'm now in the woods of North Carolina.
Okay. Searching for Bigfoot out there?
So, I didn't know until I moved here that there are sightings in, Western North Carolina. I'm like, great. I know it's going to find me.
That's where the Blue Ridge Mountains are, right?
Yep. Oldest mountains in the world, part of Appalachian, used to be taller than Everest. So a lot of
I was
history, a lot of places stuff can hide.
I'm Appalachian American. You know that, right?
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm from Kentucky.
Okay.
Mm.
So
Jesus.
so you're related to Bigfoot then?
Yeah, Bigfoot's like my third cousin. Like he just joined 23andMe, and
Yeah.
it says joined. It just says BF on it. And I'm like, he didn't even put his name on it. Sly fox. What's up, man? How you been?
Oh, doing good. Enjoying the 75-degree weather out here, but missing Texas beer, I swear. Like, I didn't realize how much good beer was in DFW until I left.
There
It's
is a
there
lot.
There's some
here.
decent beer
It's
out
like,
there.
I mean, there's Burial, there's Triangle, and the drop off in haze is something fierce. So yeah, gotta
Yes.
deal with that. But I get care packages from home, which y'all sent as well. Thank you.
Yes. Oh, you're welcome. So what are you
Absolutely.
drinking right now?
Right now, I'm having a High Wire Super Haze.
Okay. I like that can.
Yeah, they're in Asheville,
Okay.
little
That's-
hippie mountain town out to the west.
Okay.
Scummy, we're gonna get you a koozie. Send a message to the page with your address or where you want it sent to. I got you.
Yeah.
Thanks for cashing that
And
in.
name you want us to put on there. Otherwise, it's going to say scummy_41.
I do that. I don't even ask for people's names.
Yeah.
I sent stuff to like Big Dong 69 over in West Texas before. Stuff like that. Smooth Kitten
Okay.
in Montana.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
sounds,
Smooth Kitten. Awesome.
suspicious.
What was that one? I played Fortnite with some guy. He goes, "Yeah, hit me up. I'm was it Hairless Beaver?" And I was like, "Okay, we gotta calm down here because I'm laughing too
Yeah.
much." It's like,
Any one of our pages, Scummy. You can send a whisper over here.
Yeah.
Facebook, YouTube, Twitch.
yep, we're in Texas.
Whatever.
Yeah, Francis
Yeah.
Francis is saying it to user
Yeah.
with a million numbers after that. Yeah, we're in Texas. But yeah, so the haze it drops off pretty bad with the haze, huh?
Yeah. Can't find anything with Galaxy. Everything's Mosaic, Nelson, Cascade. That's pretty much it.
Those are kind of my favorite too. Like I love Cascade, and I love Mosaic.
But I love a nice little Simcoe.
Yeah,
No,
you're just pulling it. You just saw that on a can somewhere. You're like, I like
I saw it
Simcoe.
on a can earlier today, and it was a freaking awesome beer from
Yeah.
Odd News.
What is that? Oh my
Citra,
God.
Citra and Mosaic, only thing here.
Oh, that's
Um,
nice.
Kind of hazy. Not really, but it does a job.
Yeah, it's a kind of haze.
Put some apple juice or something in there. I don't know what to tell you. We just had a Bud Light next, and Alan's very convinced that they put it was crystal clear and they added juice for color. So he says they put apple juice in it.
Well,
It's got 0
it
carbs
specifically says on the can added juice for coloring.
on it. Okay. All right.
So,
I mean, when you're right, you're right. And you're always right.
I mean, that's what Bud Light told me.
Oh, okay. God. Anyways.
All right. So where are we starting at?
All right, so I think I'll probably start from like the beginning of how I got introduced to this and like this whole because I've been into cryptids and Lazarus species and stuff like that since I was probably 7 years old. So of course born in the 80s, so I was raised on the X-Files.
Right.
And I saw every single episode with my mom when it aired. Like I was crazy into it. And I guess it was just right place, right time. That was when Discovery and Animal Planet started going off the rails with cryptid stuff and started looking more and more into it. And then my next door neighbor back in McKinney opened a bookstore, and they were a little bit, call them hillbillies. So they had,
come on, man.
well, no. I mean, they had a section on Sasquatch in this bookstore, and I'm like, that is wild. So
Awesome.
I
Well, I
went
call
there and
myself
started
hillbilly.
reading.
Yeah.
No, like I say hillbilly in like talking about like they're from like the hills of Tennessee, like people who can
God.
live on the land for 2 years or something. Like
Nice.
they
Again,
were.
let's recap. Rapid Davis from Kentucky.
I can grow
He's a-
anything.
He's a hillbilly.
Good.
I said redneck once at a workplace in a warehouse. I almost thought I was going to get killed. Like they were going to kill me. I go,
No.
take it easy,
Redneck's a
Ugly,
term of
ugly, you're good,
endearment.
man.
It's
Yeah,
from
exactly.
the Battle of Blair Mountain.
Yeah.
All the coal miners would wear the red handkerchiefs. So yeah.
Jesus.
Oh man.
But yeah,
So-
started looking more and more into it. I've been hunting my entire life, and when you're in a deer blind for 12 hours, you have a lot of time to think.
There's so much.
Thankfully, haven't heard any Sasquatch or anything like that. I'll talk about where I think the breeding population is, but
Okay.
you start to hear sounds, and then you hear people give their stories about sounds, and there are so many, and they're so kind of diverse in area. What they see, what they hear, that it's if we're putting this in Occam's razor, like there is something I think with Bigfoot. With lake monsters, I really think that's more of just like my interest in folklore growing up, just stories. And then I started looking more and more. I married my wife who's from Vermont, and I have a big old champ tattoo, which you might be able to see.
Oh,
We got it.
Yeah.
We got it.
Yeah. So,
we'll go ahead and there you go.
oh, good. Yeah,
You
yeah.
can't see this on TikTok, but yeah, we're flashing up a picture of his tattoo of Champ here.
Yeah,
on
that's
the Twitch.
Champ.
Yeah.
That took around 30 hours. That's Shanti Cameron at Pristine Ink in Dallas. She's done both my sleeves. But yeah, and Vermont, they are in love with Champ in a way that I will never be in love with anything. Like everything is Champ. The only professional baseball team in the entire state, it's like a single A. They're the Vermont Lake Monsters. Like they are crazy into it. So the lake monster and sea monster thing, that's really just I'd say my fun, curious side. Just looking into it. I mean, I'm from the coast of South Carolina, so I have a great relationship with water. But Bigfoot thing, that's kind of second to my UFO and USO interest now. But just I fall into these rabbit holes. Like I've preparing for this, I fell back into it. Started watching all the Les Stroud survivorment stuff. So yeah, that's
Did you
where I am.
check out by any chance the documentary Harry and the Hendersons for this?
See, and it's funny, the movie ends, and I don't hope I'm not spoiling a 30-year-old movie, but
I mean, at this point, come on.
when
You're kidding.
when they become like translucent at the end, and like that explains them, like they walk away into the woods and they vanish. And it's funny how many people have that exact same theory today, that Sasquatch are trans-dimensional beasts, and that's why we can't find their bodies.
So that's something I definitely want to get into. If you want to tackle it now, we can tackle it now.
I feel like we need to cut the lights down and whatnot and get ready.
Because one of the things you had told me to check out was a Sasquatch on Hulu. But you said just the first episode, right?
I kept watching.
Yeah.
I started watching the second one, then I got the second episode. I got busy. I am going to go back and finish it. And I can't remember if it was during the first episode or the second episode. They brought on the couple.
Yeah, the two dudes.
The two dudes, they're a couple that one guy was just railing the other one about like you think
verbally.
Yeah, verbally. That
I've seen a couple documentaries about that.
Are
sometimes you click on the link and it pops up. Who knows?
Just kept waiting for the girls to show up. They didn't show up, man.
He was just giving it to him. I was like, damn.
But he was talking about how he thought that they were translucent, they could be camouflage. Just went into this whole thing of almost like extraterrestrial type stuff with it.
This is a sell to Canada. We're not selling the Northeast to the Canadians, sir. We're gonna keep it.
I mean, maybe.
So the documentary series Sasquatch, it's like a great place to start because it's really about the underground cannabis industry. That's what the whole show's about. It's about these you go into Northern California around north of Sonoma County. It's a bunch of people with illegal farms growing them in the woods.
Right.
And these people are very remote. And there are a lot of stories in these mountain towns in the Cascadian Mountains coming down. The Cascadian Mountains have had Sasquatch sightings for 300 years. And these ones, I think, are probably the scariest. In the first episode of that documentary series, if I'm remembering it correctly, there was a guy in his car telling his story, I believe, of a Sasquatch that he saw, and he is at the point of tears. He's like a 60-year-old man.
Yes,
he is crying. He's an ex-cop. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's like
it's
shaking
just like
a little bit. He's telling a story about fishing.
This dude was
Yeah.
definitely shaking. Like he was.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, it's and so this will. I guess I'll start with kind of the territory because I wrote a bunch of stuff down because this really helps me to get the scale. Because there's a professor, Jeff Meldrum. He's a professor of anthropology out of Idaho State University. And what he talks about, he says there are 10,000 black bears in the state of Idaho. He's been there his whole life. He's never seen a black bear.
Never.
He thinks, yeah, never. He thinks in the Pacific Northwest alone, there are a breeding population of 300 Sasquatch. So you think of how small that is in that area, because
That
this
caught me.
were
I that part was like, oh my god. I mean, when you
Mhm.
rationalize it and stuff like that, you start to like, oh hell. I mean,
He didn't just talk about
I
like
didn't mean to cut you
sightings,
off,
but he
but
also
yeah.
talked about like you don't see the carcasses from the bears either.
Exactly.
Right.
Mhm.
And so if you have such a huge population of the bears versus the population of the Sasquatch, yeah obviously you're not going to see that.
Yeah.
Right.
Didn't mean to cut you off, but yeah. I
no,
thought it was
it's
funny.
fine. It's yeah, like when he says that he has so many great scientific lectures where he talks about that, the pure scale of things. Like with Kodiak bears, they can get to 1,500 pounds. Hunters don't find dead Kodiak bears over 1,000 pounds, but we know they can get over 1,500. Just nobody's seen one. Who knows? But yeah, the scale of the Pacific Northwest. So I did a little math today. I was looking at the managed national forests in the Pacific Northwest in the U.S. It's 24.7 million acres just in the Pacific Northwest. That's 38,500 square miles. All right, and some of these trees are 1,000 years old. This is an old forest. This is one of the oldest conifer forests in North America.
Mhm.
So, all right, Canadian forests. Les Stroud, he does a lot of Survivor Man. He did all of his training in Canada. So a lot of people forget how big Canada is. I mean, it's the second largest in area. It's gigantic.
It's a nice piece of chunk of land, mostly
Yeah.
frozen, but it's there.
Well, mostly frozen,
lot
and
of
then the stuff that isn't frozen, Canadian forest,
Mhm.
347 million hectares or hectares. That's over 1.3 million square miles. For reference, Texas is 268,000 square miles. So you're thinking of an area 4 times the size of Texas that is woods in one of the most sparsely populated countries in the world. Like most people in Canada live below the 55th parallel, I believe. It's 60% live below. That is
Yeah.
south of Boston. That's Quebec, that's Toronto. Everybody lives in the Windsor area. Like
Right.
most people live there. Very sparsely populated. So you have that 1.3 million acres or million square miles, and it hits right up against the U.S. border, combines with 38.5 million miles. You go up into Alaska, which everybody forgets how big Alaska is. Just the forested acres alone.
Okay, nice state.
Well, I didn't realize it's bigger than California, Texas, Montana combined.
I didn't know it was bigger than all those three. I knew California and Texas. I thought they always use a different state. I didn't think it was Montana though. That's massive.
And like 129 million forested acres. So that's another 201,000 square miles of forest. All right. So with that contiguous forest from the Pacific Northwest into Canada, through the British Columbia and going on upwards into the territories and then into Alaska, you're having a contiguous forest of 1.6 million square miles where almost nobody lives. Like it's the scale of it is just mind-boggling.
Crazy.
So yeah,
Yeah.
can a population of 300 anything live there? Yeah, of course. And we know that there's food for them. Kodiak bears get up to 1,500 pounds, live in the woods. Grizzly bears, 1,200 pounds. They're out there. they survive in those woods every single day. There are millions of them.
Crazy Kiwis over here
I
saying
was just about to say it's a big hoax. but
New
now you're
Zealand
convincing me
used to
again.
have a bird that was 11 foot tall and 500 pounds. So who would to say that mysteries of nature don't exist?
What?
Yeah.
Hashtag X-Files.
The megafauna that existed in this world is amazing. Like a lot of the Yeti research nowadays, as I'm pouring a beer.
Yes.
So a lot of people in Asia with Yeti sightings, they talk about Gigantopithecus. You'll hear that several times.
So is Yeti just a direct relative of the Sasquatch?
Most likely. So there are
Slow
a
version
bunch
of
of
it, right?
there's the Yowie in Australia as well. The Yeti, abominable snowman, whatever you want to call it, in everything from Russia and downward into the Tibetan area. That's Yeti. They also have several local names for it, but around that area
Megalodon is real, fucking ugly. Yeah, Megalodon's a real thing, or it was.
yeah.
Dead now, but yeah.
Or
Yeah,
is
no.
it?
God, I've been trying to find megalodon teeth for years. My wife found a fossilized lemon shark tooth last week, but still looking for megalodon.
Nice.
But so giant ape species. There was a species. What was it? 300,000 to 100,000 years ago, called Gigantopithecus, which is, you picture somebody who's 9 foot tall and covered with just long ginger hair. It is what you think of when you think of like a ginger Sasquatch.
So
Just
like
a
Sean Bradley.
Just a soul sucking
With a lot of hair.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. I don't think there's anything more terrifying than that. We can end the show on that note.
Well, and so everybody points to this as like, okay, this is definitely a common ancestor, but it's wild how little we know about it. Gigantopithecus, we have all these drawings and everything and reconstructions of it now. To this date, archaeologists have only found 4 partial jaw bones. That's it. There are a bunch of teeth that they haven't found anything else. They said because there was a species of porcupine in that area that ate bones.
Oh.
So
convenient.
that is why they can't find any part of Gigantopithecus. And it existed around the same time as the Bering Sea land bridge. You know, the Bering Sea land bridge was 100 to 250,000 years ago. It's around the same time. You can think of the land bridge between Russia and Alaska as it was at its peak. What was it? 60 miles wide at one point. Like it's not even a land bridge. It's just land that anything can cross. We know about stories of the Native Americans. So we have this one common ancestor, Gigantopithecus, which we know existed. It was discovered 40 years ago. And who knows what else is out there. Less than 2 years ago in Myanmar, there was a species of monkey discovered, a wholly new species. It was a breeding population of 300 called the Popa Langer. And it's this really cool black and white monkey with got like rings around its eyes. It's super cool, but it's been chilling there for, they think, at least 200,000 years. And they discovered it 2 years ago. Nobody had ever seen it or documented it before.
Okay.
I'm telling you, and just like, you know, fucking ugly just said, I found a tooth right here in North Florida. I'm saying it's still around today.
And he was referring to the megalodon.
Yeah.
So
and it's like, you know, you think about this vast amount of space and how much we don't know and we can't really see, or
especially when you talk about like water, right? And that's really what you get into when you start talking about lake monsters is how far down does it really go?
I mean, a lake's different than a pond,
right?
Or than the ocean. I'm sorry.
But some of these lakes that they're like, for example, like the Loch Ness. Yes, you have all the different.
Let's stay on
locks out there because they're different locks, and then you have the Loch Ness, but those all feed into the ocean. Like they feed into the Loch Ness does.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it feeds directly into the ocean.
Yeah,
I know Champ is cut off. That's how they when they talk about them, they're talking about a pod of them that got in there, and then when it cut off, and now they're just there,
right?
You know. But anyways,
yeah.
I didn't mean.
Which is which is I mean it's actually a good segue for just Sasquatch, because this Gigantopithecus we knew existed, and we have the fossil records from partial pieces of bone in China. And yeah, if there was a contingency, or even a further ancestor that went across the land bridge, was chilling in British Columbia, we know that forest is one of the oldest conifer forests in the world, so it would still be there. Land bridge closes, guess they're going to chill there because they have
Right.
to.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
and yeah, with the vastness and emptiness, really cool with the research going on. And let me know if I'm rambling at any point. I feel like
Oh.
Charlie Kelly. I was telling y'all, like, I'm just gonna start pointing Pepe Sylvia.
I enjoy all these conversations, and like today I was just sucked in immediately to like I'm just like all of a sudden I'm like, oh, okay. Even though the story about like that Hulu documentary Sasquatch or whatever it's called, he's actually trying to figure something else out, but they are mentioning Sasquatch. They're talking to people that have seen it. They talk about the movie that it's famous for. Or is it the video or I think it's a video.
The Patterson film. So we can
No.
talk about the Patterson Gimlin film of 1967, which
Mhm.
is probably the most famous. It's in the Cascadian Mountains right there in Northern California as well. Two guys on horseback. They have an old, it's an 8 or 16 millimeter camera. I'm always
Yeah,
forgetting.
I think it was like an 8.
But
They were out to find
eight,
it, and they went like every day, like 30, 40 miles on a
yeah,
horseback.
yeah, they were deep in it. And then
Mhm.
that's the famous footage that we've all seen, where you can see it stabilized because he was trying to run after it, steadied himself, I think, against a log or a rock, and then you just see that classic just walking away.
And
Yeah.
then stop, turn and look,
Yep.
and keep walking.
And
And that one's interesting because you've got the guys that are essentially neighbors,
Mhm.
and the one guy's the one who was there when he saw it, and the other neighbor's like, yeah, well, that was me in a suit.
I was about to say, did you watch the next episode?
yeah,
I watched part of the second episode where the guy was talking. It's like, well, that was just me in a suit. Like, if you look at it, you can see my wallet in the back,
Yeah, 'cause I have my
the left
jeans
hip,
still on.
right, and my jeans
so
are on, and
and it's funny, like he says that, and then like even in that documentary series, his wife was like, "What? You didn't know them that well?" And he's like, whatever. Like
I
he's
think
almost trying to like,
she's like, oh, I waved, or he didn't
he's
wave
like, he
it.
never looks at me or acknowledges, and his wife's like, well, he's waved at us a few times. Well, yeah, but he's never looked at us.
He didn't look at us or something like that. Yeah.
it's wild. And
Old man bitching.
the anthropology research has gone into that. Jeff Meldrum from Idaho State, I swear he can give an entire class on that video, because I have seen so many freaking lectures of that guy dissecting like frame by frame. They had one hilarious thing. It was on Discovery Channel, forget the special. He got a football player from a local university, I think Boise State, and some big guy, not like 350 pounds, which the approximate size that they said, and they had him try to recreate the way he's walking, and they couldn't do it. Like they went muscle by muscle, they couldn't do it. So some untrained person in a gorilla suit being able to mimic that and have that hindsight that people are going to be looking at it frame by frame for muscle activity, like
Mhm.
it's Occam's razor, man. Yeah.
He's just sitting
And
there
that was
trudging along. I don't know.
and that was the thing. The guy was talking was like, I saw that. I saw the way his body moved, his hair moved, his muscle moved. But then he also pointed out the fact, he goes, plus that guy's 5'9". Okay.
Yeah, he was like, he's 5'9".
He's 5'9".
5'8",
What I saw was a lot bigger than 5'9", Chief.
yeah.
Yeah. And Jeff Meldrum and oh my god, I'm gonna forget his name. The guy at Washington State University, Grover Krantz. He's another anthropology biology professor at Washington State, because all these people in the Pacific Northwest. And yeah, I believe he was one who did the measurement analysis and weight analysis based on the logs and the rocks, and they came to it. It was like something like 6'9", 6'10", 350 pounds.
Jesus.
Yeah. And yeah, it's like, oh my God, that's huge. And then you think of 350 pounds in the world of Pacific Northwest isn't that big when you look at all the ursines, the 1,500 pound Kodiak bears. Like, you ever
Mhm.
seen a grizzly bear's paw? It's fucking terrifying. They're like
Yeah.
this fucking big.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they live up there every day. And
Yeah.
wait, I did pull something because this is hilarious. I didn't realize that because I was looking, I was like, okay, 350 pounds. Let's look at other primates.
Uh-huh.
So you got
Gorillas.
Larry Allen there, right?
I mean, when they said it, like, hey, what's a giant primate? And he could just throw, because when they talk about the other one, the guy's just chunking, or the primate's just chunking rocks and logs that are huge, and it's like, that sounds like a damn primate to me, like someone that, because they're so damn strong. You know what I mean? There's nothing
they're
more
pure
to me,
muscle.
nothing more terrifying than an ape or like a damn gorilla. Like
Or a chimp.
a chimp,
That'll
but
bite your fucking face off. Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I think I'd have a heart attack before they actually got to me, because the pain you're about to feel is like, there's no effing way. Like, you're not surviving. I mean, you're gonna be all effed up.
He's tearing your junk off, and then when he's done with your junk, he's ripping your face off.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Dude.
They go for the soft tissues. Yeah.
Oh my God, it's terrifying.
And
So
and so I was looking at that. I'm like, okay, 350 pounds. Let's look at other primates. The largest lowland gorilla that we have records on, like we have put on a scale, is 800 pounds.
Mhm.
Largest mountain gorilla, 589 pounds.
They've talked about some of these things being like 1,200 pounds, like Sasquatch or whatever, when they size them up to like 6, 9, or 7 foot, up to 9 foot, I think is some of them said. They're like, it's 1,200 pounds. I go, Jesus.
Jay, you should have been paying attention. We've been talking
Well,
about it.
and like these, I say they're the ones being weighed because they're in zoos. These are ones that we're actually going to be able to weigh. It's how we know it's 589 pounds instead of just eyeballing a gorilla on the hill and trying to guess.
Exactly.
I mean, my favorite though is I was looking it up. The biggest orangutan, because I was like, our orangutan's the direct descendant of Gigantopithecus, Australopithecus. And yeah, apparently an orangutan got super lazy and got morbidly obese, and it was 460 pounds. It could barely move. And I just thought that was insane.
Orangutans are definitely just like lazy ass animals. They're just sitting there just chilling all the time. Slow. They're almost like a sloth. They move.
That's
so
what the
damn
zoo
slow
said.
up there.
They're like, he just kept eating and sat down.
I'm telling you, but there's a new video that popped up like on TikTok or as a reel or something like that, and it was an orangutan that was behind in a cage. You can see the steel wrought iron
grabbing that guy.
Grabs that effing guy and got a hold of his shirt. He's kept pulling quick, got a hold of his arm, gets a hold of his damn leg. Guy's like almost sideways. He's about to break his damn leg in half. And I'm like sitting there like holding the phone and go, oh my God, someone shoot this damn thing.
Go for his eyes.
I was like,
you gotta go for the eyes.
Poke that son of a bitch in the eye. What are you doing?
And we're just talking about that, Jay.
Scared the
I haven't seen
F
that.
out of me, man.
I haven't seen that.
I saw it on I think Reddit today. Yeah.
The overpowering power that they have is unbelievable. And it's one of the, and like a bear, I think a bear scares me more than anything, but a chimp, like if you're like out and a chimp or an orangutan, something like that, or an ape gets loose, an ape's just going to beat your ass to death, right? You're just going to get crushed.
You're just getting pummeled.
But if a black bear gets a hold, he's going to do that one. He's going to swipe at you and he's going to cut your effing face off. And there's like certain animals that I'm just absolutely like terrified.
What we got here? Crazy Kiwi. The short-faced bear was apparently 11 foot, 3,500 pounds. I wouldn't be hunting that in a hurry.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's another one, the megafauna. Yeah. And
what's the one animal that our Australian friends told us about? Was it like a drop bear or something like that? Or
there was something that like
it's terrifying.
Yeah, it was either Red or Slap that told us about it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
It's freaking insane looking.
Yeah, they had something out there. They told us, and we looked it up. I go, Jesus Christ. And we were like, nah, man, we're out on that.
And yeah, the gorillas, they get so big and they eat plants. Chimps. Chimps, 150 pounds. But if you ever see a chimp with no hair, there are pictures out there, they are pure friggin' muscle.
They all are.
They're the ones who, like that poor lady who got her face eaten, or there are people that get killed in Africa where they go straight for the junk and then the face. They'll eat their ears. They'll just eat everything because
You
they
lose
are
everything that's like an
omnivores.
appendage, but yeah, they definitely yeah, your junk is first and your face is second, and they just start ripping ears and fingers off and stuff like that. It's like it's terrifying. It really is. And what are you
So,
gonna do,
yeah.
man? I mean, it's absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, and if you think of that pure relative power and then increase it by 5 times, and then
Yeah.
there are all these stories and videos of trees getting pushed over, of boulders getting thrown off hills towards people. These are also things that primates do in the wild,
Yeah.
that we know that chimpanzees do, that we know that gorillas do. They push down trees to communicate with each other. They'll clear an area and saying like, this one is mine. They'll throw rocks at each other. Chimps have wars. I took when I was at SMU, I took a class.
Seen it before.
It was called warfare, and I swear we covered chimps for like 2 weeks, just the warfare of chimps. And yeah, they'll do raids and throw rocks and eat their babies, all kinds of crazy shit. So
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is crazy. And that's the thing. They're not sitting around watching Netflix, eating effing chocolate and ice cream and stuff. They're out in the real world having to get it done. You get fat out in the real world, you get dead real quick.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Unless you're a big ass polar bear or something like that.
a big old bear. So in the Sasquatch show on
why is this
Netflix,
on TV?
or not Netflix, Hulu, you've got the main story is, the guy, what's his name?
Steven Spielberg.
Not Steven Spielberg.
Harrison Ford.
Not Harrison Ford. He was
Bender Rodriguez.
he was an investigative journalist for
What's up, Pojo?
Rolling Stone, all that stuff, and he would go and like
Neil Patrick Harris,
be a part of like the White Kings.
Oh
and
yeah,
things
the
like
guy that
right.
is actually doing the show.
Right, the guy that's actually doing the show. Like he was always going and putting himself in all these places where just bad people are a part of, right?
Yeah.
And so he's wanting to go be part of all these drug rings. The marijuana in the, was this like the 90s? They're in California, and this was,
I mean, they're still around.
Yeah, but one of the groups he kind of attached himself to was, it was like a Mexican cartel type, and he goes out there and he's part of that, and he has the one night where these guys come back and they're just terrified because 3 of their dudes got ripped apart by Sasquatch.
I'm waiting to see the results of this because it's already starting to navigate away from that.
Is it okay? Because
Yeah.
I've only watched like
that was the first part of
episode
the
and a little
episode.
bit more.
Yeah, so that's where the series gets. I'm not trying to give anything away because it's a very good documentary series.
It is.
But it's the people in the Cascadian Mountains in Northern California, where everything blends together, where there are violent acts that are from Sasquatch. There are
Right.
violent acts from people, and it all just blends together. And then it's a game of telephone. And you're like, all right, who threw that giant boulder at her car? Oh, it might have been the Hells Angels down there at Hemphill County or something.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So it's really good because it begins with all those human stories. Then you get into all the shit that goes on with cartels and stuff. You realize all this is happening at the same time.
It really sucked me into like thinking I was watching like a Sasquatch documentary, right? And they do touch on that several times, but then it starts fading away and going another direction, which I'm still watching because the guy the guy that's doing it, he's an investigative reporter. He's great, I think. Like
he's definitely like, because he's calling a lot of people, calling a lot of Sasquatch people, and be like, hey, have you ever heard of this?
Yeah.
And a lot of them are like, no. And then he gets one guy that
they know about other stuff.
Was it Razor? That he ends up meeting, finding
Razor Ramon
and Razor Ray, yeah,
he tells
stars.
him, he gives him some information about it and a little bit more in depth that he didn't lead him on. So he's like, okay, this guy knows something, and kind of goes into a little bit more, and that's kind of where
this guy knows something about something.
I don't know what that guy's got, but he's got something.
So, well, this is a good segue because I will say, like, the person I think that knows more than anything about this whole topic, it's not the professors. It's not Krantz at Washington State. It's not Meltram at Idaho State. I think it is Les Stroud, the Survivor Man.
Okay.
Because of, I mean, I don't want to shit on Bear Grylls, but you watch a
We
lot of
can all
Bear.
sit on Bear Grylls,
I
right?
mean,
What's
you
the best
watch a lot
favorite?
of Bear Grylls stuff, and there's a really funny thing where he's like hopping across canyons, and he says it in the middle of nowhere. Then somebody went there, and it's like right next to a major highway.
Yeah.
But Les Stroud's he's the real deal. I mean, he's from northern Ontario, and then he just went out into the wilderness. He was like, "All right, I'm gonna do canoeing adventures in the middle of nowhere," and he's
Okay.
just gonna guide around people, and does all these adventuring in the Canadian wilderness, which we established, 1 what was it, 1.2 million, 1.4 million square miles of forest. He would just go into the middle of nowhere, and he would homestead in the middle of nowhere and do all these adventurings, these month-long things. He met his first wife on one, and their honeymoon was a year that they spent in the middle of the wilderness. They brought, what was it, a bow saw, an axe, fire starter kit, and I think I'm done.
Oh,
And they lived
Jesus.
out. They built their own house. Like, he built a log cabin. They went to civilization 3 times in that, and it was really against their will. One of them, his dad was dying of cancer. There was, they had to send people. It would take them 3 days to reach them because they didn't have any way to reach them. They didn't have any technology. Like, hey, your dad's dying of cancer. Had to go out. They got Giardia because that shit happens. I mean, we've all played Oregon Trail. Everybody gets dysentery.
Everybody.
Yeah, so they shit themselves as they were going back for 3 days. And then his wife had a miscarriage, which are very common. We should destigmatize. But yeah, they had to go to civilization for that. But outside of that, they were in the middle of the woods, hundreds of miles away from anybody, in a place they built. And that he started a documentary from that. It went to a couple film festivals, and then he did Survivor Man, which I think he initially pitched. He initially pitched to Discovery about it would be him and his wife. They're like, no, we just want you. And he would just go into the middle of nowhere for weeks, and he would have a camera, and that's it. Not like Bear Grylls, where he is a camera guy. No, it is Les Stroud in the middle of nowhere. Did a lot of in Canada. He's very experienced in British Columbia, which is not his province, but it's a very densely wooded area. And actually, it's funny, in British Columbia, the First Nations tribe there are actually the ones who came up with the name Sasquatch. Sasquatch, which is one of the First Nation tribes I'm not going to try to pronounce.
Oh.
That is what they called these giant wild men they would see hundreds of years ago. So Sasquatch, that is an Americanization or an Anglicization of a creature that has been in their stories for hundreds of years. But
That's kind of what they were alluding to in some of these the documentaries and things like that were brought up, and Alan told me to watch. Was there's people that were out there that decided to go out into the woods, and they were feral, right? So then you start kind of, they're stink. They got you know what I mean? They're dirty as hell. They look bad. They stink. And, they really always don't get a good look at them. So it's like, are these humans out there just looking bad and being stinky and all that kind of stuff, living the rural life out there, possibly hunting, not at their camp, but they're out hunting and someone just happens to see them and it gooses them. Or are these actually like 7 foot, 8 or 8 foot, 9 foot tall, primates?
Yeah.
I mean, we all share a common ancestor. So we all share a common ancestor. So maybe it is another branch. Who knows? I mean, yeah, in the 1920s, there were sightings of it was around Mount St. Helens, before it blew up, of miners being attacked by hairy wild men. They said, like, nobody had any idea what a Bigfoot was or anything like that. Didn't happen until the Patterson tape when people started using the word Bigfoot. So yeah, 1924, there was a bunch of people on St. Helens. 1958 in the Cascadian Mountains, when loggers were first getting into there, People were getting their shit broken, like, and they were seeing these creatures hunting ground squirrels and like just throwing huge boulders around digging for food. It's wild. Yeah. So the common ancestor thing's out there. And Les Stroud, when he was filming Survivor Man, he says you can see it twice. Before he had his falling out with Joe Rogan, because everybody had a falling out with Joe Rogan.
We haven't yet.
Not yet. We've been TikTok seems to deem us as Joe Rogan 2.0.
We've gotten that comment several times. Right?
Yeah,
It
which
would
is
be
kind
an
of cool, I guess.
improvement, right?
Yeah.
Like,
That's an upgrade.
No, yeah, 2.0. It's the next version. That's great.
think
Yeah.
that. I mean, I've watched the show before. It's we're
You're
not there.
you're the Windows ME of podcasts.
Oh, God. Oh,
I like that. I'll take that. Can we get that on a shirt?
Ugh.
I love it. I love it. So let me ask you this. So Sasquatch, Bigfoot, it's been around for forever, essentially, right? Why haven't we found bones, skeletal remains,
or why are we trying to cover it up if there is something?
Because I mean,
We let everything else
dinosaurs
be.
haven't been here in how long? And we find them all the time.
Millions
Like,
of years.
they're everywhere. There's probably some dinosaur bones in Rapidave's backyard.
Maybe. We'll see. I'm digging
You
around.
So
why
that's
haven't we seen this stuff, right?
That's a great question, because honestly, I think the answer is I have no idea. There's the more fantastical explanation that we talked about earlier, where people say it's the people at Skinwalker Ranch talk about this a lot, where it's a trans-dimensional creature, because they'll see them fade in and out. And in the Missing 411, the Hunted documentary, somebody says they saw pretty much a predator, where it was like they saw something translucent moving in front of them. So there's that theory.
So is that what this? Because I started watching the Sasquatch on Hulu, right? And I started watching it, and then I had to do some stuff, so I had to turn it off, and I turned it back on, and then right after that, my next 3 recommendations were something on Hulu about Skinwalker Ranch, a bunch of documentaries about that. So that has to do with the Sasquatch.
There's a lot of stuff with the Skinwalker Ranch. That's Sasquatch. That's UFOs. That there's just a bunch of anomalies at this ranch, and a few millionaires got together and bought it off of the owners, and they have it closed, and they are doing their own research. Have been doing their own research for 20 years.
It's over. But
the ranch right next door got bought by some people, and they're doing their own research, and that's where we get the TV show about the Skinwalker Ranch.
Okay,
there you go.
All right. So I got to check that out next.
Yeah, that's how I got into Last Podcast on the Left, like 6 years ago or something, where they did a big Skinwalker Ranch episode, because it just going back so far. I mean, even Native American. I mean, it's called Skinwalker Ranch. This isn't a scary name that was given. It's what it was called. And yeah, a lot of stories with there. But it's either the trans-dimensional thing, it's that it's so sparse, and that the bones maybe look like something else. Maybe the bones get eaten. Maybe the bones are semi-brittle, and they're just dissolving. If you ever seen an animal in the woods that dies, we had a possum that died by us, and it took a day for the possum to disappear.
What?
For the maggots and everything. Yeah, it was a bunch of flies just destroyed it, and then the bones, who knows where they went? Maybe it got
the city came by and shoveled it up, right?
Yeah.
That's what happened.
We're not city here, we're a town. Yeah.
The city doesn't come by and pick up the dead animals on our road either. The vultures come by and pick at it.
Yeah, they do.
Like, you know, it's crazy to walk out and see like a 10-pound vulture staring at you as you're walking by there picking.
So you saw a small vulture then?
I mean, the ones we have here, I've taken pictures. If you're in the Discord, you've seen these vultures, and so they're like sometimes there's one, sometimes there's 3.
Oh, y'all got a Discord server? I need to join that.
It's mostly naked pictures of Alan's mom when she was shooting for Sears catalog. But yeah, it's in there.
Good. That's some of my happiest memories. Me alone at the Sears catalog.
I'm telling you, man. I think about it all the time. Like, I miss it. I dropped it in there. So if you want to be part of it, go ahead.
That's in the Twitch in the comments. We got the link there.
Cool.
But yeah,
it's we have no. It's like why we haven't discovered that for the same reason for the Popalanker and Myanmar. Why nobody found those bones?
What can you?
What the hell's a Popalink?
And it
the Popalanker
soccer player, right?
Yeah, Neymar.
Yeah.
That was that monkey they found 2 years ago in Myanmar.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, but like
where was that monkey found again at?
In Myanmar, formerly Burma. It's in the state of Mandalay, which has a population of 6 million.
In Mandalay Bay, Las Vegas.
Not in Vegas. It's
no. Okay. But that's my thing. So like that's somewhere where there's not a lot. There's a lot more.
There are a lot more people.
Right? There's a lot
more wildlife, but not langurs in Mandalay.
Okay.
And Mandalay and Myanmar, you have a lot of macaques, which is a fun word to say.
That's offensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
They have long-tailed macaques. They have pig-tailed macaques.
And average size
short-tailed macaques. Yeah. They have stump-nosed macaques. That's another one.
Oh.
Yeah. But they're like rats over there. They are so overpopulated because of tourists feeding them. And that's why if you saw funny ass videos at the beginning of COVID, Southeast Asia had monkey wars because all these tourists stopped coming there, and there are thousands of monkeys, and then there's no food, so they're just fighting each other. Oh, it's great.
Oh, Jesus.
But yeah, so there are a bunch of macaques,
and
you have langurs, and nobody knew were there.
Oh.
Because that's like kind of also the other part, like, so you've got the Sasquatch here, and I think like Oklahoma's like a hotbed for Sasquatch sightings where they've actually legalized Sasquatch hunting, but you got to capture them alive.
Yep. You can get a license for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a license for everything.
I'm thinking just here in the U.S. and I'm thinking, areas like that. The odds are we would have seen it, right? Like,
I think anything out of the Pacific Northwest is long gone, and I think we are having misidentifications, with the exception of Florida, because of the skunk ape. Because there's something weird going on, whether it's wild orangutans or something. There's a really famous picture that came out a few years ago where it looks like a Harry and the Hendersons thing, where it's just like long, just ginger and gray, looks like an orangutan behind a palm frond. Yeah, it's almost exactly like that.
He's so caring. He's concerned.
Very concerned. It's a funny skunk ape picture because I saw it on the last podcast and left their last tour. And I looked into it, and it's true, where it was an old woman, because Florida, there are a lot of old people. She reported to the sheriff's office because she thought an orangutan escaped from a zoo. She didn't know it was she didn't think it was a skunk ape or anything. She's like, hey, somebody's monkey's loose.
You keep saying,
check this out.
Like, I should know what that is.
It's the skunk ape. Think of it's the best Florida cryptid ever because it's a Bigfoot that smells like absolute shit.
That's what they say the male ones smell like, right? They smell. If you have the windows down, it's terrible. Yeah.
So the skunk ape sightings. There are, if you look skunk ape elderly or whatever, it might show up her picture, but it's behind a palm frond. It looks like just a long-haired orangutan, and she was like, "Hey, something escaped from the zoo. Please capture this." So I think that is probably the most credible, but I mean,
which
even
is
going
wild because they have dinosaurs running around down there, like those damn alligators. Every 15 freaking feet, you can't throw a rock without hitting a damn alligator in Florida.
Yeah. I go fishing in Florida in a kayak, and it's fun. I'm thinking, well, is this the day I die from an alligator?
Right?
Nope, guess not.
Just ready to,
Not-
it's just ready to
not
beat the
today.
shit out of an alligator. Like, I'm ready, man. I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shoot a hole in myself, my boat, or the alligator. Something's getting something.
Someone's getting stuck here.
Uh-huh.
Well,
We might have to stand up in a minute. They're about to do the Pledge of Allegiance on the ABC NBA
So,
Finals.
so is this what you're talking about with that picture?
yes, that's it.
That just looks.
So this woman saw it. It's an old woman, and she's like, "Hey, somebody's orangutans escaped." Because I mean, there's a
That's not an
population.
orangutan.
Exactly. She didn't know what was happening. Like, there's a population of rhesus macaques in Florida. Like, there are monkey colonies in Florida. The monkey colony in Marion County, the rhesus macaques, it's because somebody wanted to do a Tarzan theme park on an island and didn't know that they could swim. So he opened the box, and then they all just fucking fled and like swam through the river. And so now there are like 400 monkeys.
It's always something like that, right? Some idiot's doing something like, yeah, you know what?
That's
Well,
like
don't worry about it.
all the pythons and everything there. So that's why she was like, "Hey, it's somebody's orangutan." And
Yeah.
then the sheriff's like, "No." So yeah, that is
she's never
probably
seen
the
Every Which Way But Loose. Then apparently,
Yeah.
mm,
Going right. What the hell's the name of that
a
monkey? I can't think of the
documentary.
name. That's such a great one too.
Was that the Clint Eastwood one?
Yes, Every Which Way.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
drove around his pickup truck with his orangutan.
What the
buddy.
hell's the name of the monkey?
I don't know, man.
It's something, but he goes, "Hey, making a right here." And of course, back then you had the hand signal, so he goes like this and just pulls it out and just, damn it, I can't think of his damn monkey. I got my mom on the horn; she'd probably know.
Oh.
Clyde, Dylan, you're finally worth something. His name is Clyde.
There we go. It is. I just looked it up.
Good job, Dylan.
And so, I mean, even through like Any Which Way But Loose, like, so I say the skunk apes might exist, and then like there are always sightings in the Midwest. Like I say Midwest,
I don't believe
everything,
shit they say.
every pine country going up, or piney woods going
Okay.
up.
Yeah.
There's also the Boggy Creek legend of Boggy Creek, the Boggy Creek monster, which was a really I think a funny case. They made a good movie about it. Whereas about an alleged Sasquatch that terrorized a town, to me it sounds like it was a couple of rednecks that just started stealing people's chickens and stuff. But
That happened.
I mean, who doesn't like chicken?
Who the fuck is
I
that
mean-
guy? Is there like a fan in this, like in the lineup here? He's got just like street clothes.
Maybe he's just not
Sorry,
active.
sorry, man. Just sit there watching.
no, it's fine.
This guy's
It's-
like got a fucking t-shirt and jeans on, standing next to the Golden State Warriors. I'm like, I don't think they know he's there. It's like,
No, man, it's Silicon Valley. He's probably worth like $12 billion or something.
He probably is.
you ain't kidding. You ain't kidding.
Yeah, I was
So-
in San Francisco for the when the Raptors won it against the Warriors, and I was in town. I'm like, oh shit, I'll go. Let me look up tickets. It's like $4,000 a ticket.
Yeah. They're worried about they're not worried about like ticket prices or inflation or the rich. They're they got a bum problem out that way that they don't want to
Mhm.
address.
So many bums.
They're just like, meh.
And a Drake problem.
And a Drake. They can't get rid of the fucking Drake out there.
This guy. So let's kind
put a
of
bow
tie
on
a bow
All right.
around Bigfoot, and so we can get
Yes.
into Nessie and Lake monsters.
We got a couple minutes here.
So yeah,
Bigfoot
also,
I'm saying no.
so based on the scientific evidence from Meldrum and Krantz, who are biological anthropologists, they said that based on the foot ridges that they've done testing on, based on the hair samples, based on everything that they've seen, that there is a Sasquatch.
Yeah.
Jeff Meldrum, he has his PhD. He's in the Pacific Northwest. I'm gonna take his word for it. I've never seen a Bengal tiger, but people out there in Bengal that are biologists see tigers, and they say they exist, so I'm gonna believe them.
Right. By the way, Alan jumped in. Alan Haida.
Oh
He
shit,
says
yeah.
hi.
Hey, Alan.
Yeah.
Hey.
What's up, Alan? So I agree. I think Bigfoot's real.
I think
Like-
there's enough space for it to be real, but I think
There is.
I think, I don't know. I'm just
I-
going to say no just to be different.
And the thing is, like, there's probably other animals and species out there that we still haven't discovered here in the U.S.
Yeah.
Like I'll just say here in the U.S. There is because there is still enough wilderness out there, uncharted area. I still say there's uncharted area here in the U.S.
Where's uncharted for you?
I guarantee you there's areas in Alaska that we don't have.
So you're going all the way.
U.S. I'm
Absolutely.
saying the U.S.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe you get into some of those areas where you're dealing in the mountains and things like that along the Appalachian. There's areas that are uncharted.
I think those are populated enough. I think you got a case with Alaska, but I think you just threw a dart at the wall and just like, Alaska. You know what I mean?
Well,
But yeah.
I mean, it's the largest. Well, when you look at as we're transitioning to Nessie with the water, the blue pike went extinct over 60 years ago. And
bring all your questions on,
the
Alan.
blue pike till this day still has sightings in the Great Lakes. To this day, people see fish, are like, that's a blue pike. And like, no, blue pike went extinct in the 1970s. Still have sightings to this day.
I mean, they see a fish and like, yeah, it's a fish.
I think the water's a lot different than it is with the land. Because there's just, you can't go as far down as the water goes.
I've never seen a Bigfoot enthusiast and Steve Harvey fan in the same room. Who the hell's a Steve Harvey fan?
I mean, we talking Steve Harvey on Family Feud?
A lot of middle-aged women.
I mean, it has to be. No, I'm
Steve Harvey on the Family Feud. I'm in.
I'm out on that.
I'm in.
Nah, give me the other guy. Like the last four. Anybody?
Richard Karn?
No, Louis Anderson. God rest his soul.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Yeah.
God, if we can only get Steve Harvey to eat it.
Oh,
we can move on.
You did this about Betty White, and she died like 3 days later.
I said, stay hard, Betty White.
I said 99.
Yeah, and Rapiday goes, God, I hope we make it to 100.
I told her to hang in there. Well, give me the birthday of Steve Harvey, and I'll curse his ass too.
So next we're gonna, and let me just start off the not Bigfoot but Nessie talk with, because we have a picture here that was captured of Nessie.
I swear to God, if you don't get that mic away from your mouth,
what else am I supposed to do?
Just put it off. Just don't
be like this the whole fucking time. Okay, so here's what we got here. We're gonna show
there's no in between. There's no in between with him. It's either
we got this. Amazing picture taken of Nessie. Okay.
Dylan retract. He goes, I've never seen Bigfoot enthusiast and a Tyler Perry fan in the same room. I don't know who's a Tyler Perry fan, so I couldn't tell you. Why are no bone skeletons of Bigfoot? We just covered it. There are more carcasses of animals commonly found in the woods. Why no Bigfoot? We already covered that as well. And just like with the
we don't know, man.
I mean, the black 300% or 300 breeding population across 1.6 million square miles of forest. Yeah. There are areas of Canada that people haven't stepped foot in thousands of years.
Maybe they bury their dead.
Or burn them, eat them.
Maybe.
Something.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, Gigantopithecus, so I'll always go back to that. Like,
it's all good,
Alan. No, you're good, Alan.
We've only found partial mandibles. It's wild. There's so much unknown that we don't know.
Okay.
So I've seen, because you've been talking up Nessie and sea monsters over on your page, promoting your coming on. But you wanted one post that I saw where you said you're going to talk about why the Loch Ness monster isn't real, but Champ is.
Champ is real.
But Champ might be. Yeah, I see Champ and Ogopogo might be. But I think Ogopogo.
I have a picture of Ogopogo. Okay. So this was a picture taken of Ogopogo.
You shut up.
It's going to be Ogopogo. Yeah.
Why
that looks real?
Why can't you get a picture of like something that's in a park? It's a child's park.
No,
South Lake
real.
Dragons or something like that.
That's in Canada.
But yeah, so with Loch Ness monster and or Nessie, we're just going to call it Nessie now. It all ties back to the King Kong movies, pretty much.
Okay,
and that was what I was hearing on the last podcast on the left, right? They talked about that.
Marcus Parks talks about that, and there's a really good, I think, on The Cut they did an article about that as well, where there have been sightings of quote lake monsters, but they differ in Scotland because they have a thing called the Kelpie, which is folklore for them, which is a water horse. They made a movie called Water Horse, kind of an origin story for the water monster.
That was
Yeah,
like a Disney
Legend of the
movie,
Waterers.
right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now
Which
I can't
isn't the same as like when they started talking about it. It was like a shape shifting animal that would be the shape of a horse on land, and people would go and jump on it to try and get it out of the water, to ride it out of the water. And then once you sat on it, you were stuck,
Yeah, they
and he
were
just
sticky.
took you underwater until you were just dead. Like,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, so there are a lot of 1800s sightings of water horse around Scotland.
I like
And
Cat Williams and Bigfoot.
what's wrong with Cat Williams?
Nothing wrong with Cat Williams.
no, he's good.
That's funny.
He stopped going
We-
crazy a few years ago. That was great.
I don't know about like
we got
current
Dylan
Cat
over here. It's like
Williams.
I've never seen a Bigfoot enthusiast and Cat Williams fan in the same room.
He just keeps firing off for some reason.
firing shots.
African American comedians. I don't know what his deal is with that. Because last three people he's compared them to are African American. We have Steve Harvey, Tyler Perry, and Cat Williams. So we'll see where the next one goes.
One of those, you're right, but that's just because there's no Tyler Perry fans out there. But
go on, sir.
But sorry. So I'm like thinking, I'm like, damn, why do Tyler Perry movies do so well? Like there are like 35 fucking Medea movies. What the hell?
I didn't get it.
They're terrible. They
and
are
they
so
all
effing
go.
bad.
They all go to theater. They don't go straight to DVD.
I tried to watch one and I was just like, this is just awful.
It's the worst movie I've ever seen in my life.
It's like a bad version of the Nutty Professor.
Yeah, yeah. Like we've seen Eddie Murphy did this 20 years ago. We're good, but they're like, no,
Yeah.
we need more.
No, we have two. We have two Big Mama's house. They're okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And, Martin Lawrence already done this too. We're good.
We're good.
Mhm.
No, we're gonna keep farting them out. It's funny. It's gonna be great.
Oh,
And if you don't like them, you're
like 75 of those movies.
all
I
right.
don't get
All
it.
right. So, Nessie.
But back to Nessie.
I can't stop messing
So
with this
I'll
thing.
say, Loch Ness, 22 miles long, 754 feet deep at its deepest. All right. It's been used for shipping since the early 1800s. All right. First Nessie sighting that we consider Nessie, that we, the long neck, the humps that they see, 1933. Because what also happens in 1933? The first King Kong movie.
King Kong.
And later that year, the son of Kong. Both of them have a Diplodocus, or what we knew as kids as a Brontosaurus.
Brontosaurus. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Where, especially in one of the first sightings, the Spicer sighting in 1933, where he says he saw it on land. He says he saw Nessie on land, and it had a sheep in its mouth. And it was walking and had a sheep in its mouth. 1933, King Kong, when all the men are approaching Skull Island in a boat, and a Patasaur Diplodocus comes up, flips over the raft, grabs a man with its long neck, and goes down after it flips off everything. It's almost the exact same sighting. And that's where everything kicked off. And then the Daily Mail, which has always been a tabloid, always
Right,
been.
right. Yeah.
They had a guy that was on staff who was not a journalist. His name was Marmaduke Wetherell.
Sounds legit.
Yeah.
That is the most British shit I've ever heard in my life. They
Yeah.
Marmaduke. And
I mean,
they're like,
welcome to
hey,
America. we have an comic with Marmaduke.
yeah. And yeah, it's the only thing I'm thinking of. Like, I love on the last podcast and left, they're always like, oh yeah, and Marmaduke, and they just start mentioning their favorite comics. But
Yeah.
this guy, they're like, hey, go to Loch Ness, see what's up with all these sightings. Again, after 1933, when the King Kong movies came out. So he went down there, and he's not a journalist. He's just trying to get paid. He goes down there for a couple days. And then one night, he goes down there with a hippo foot, which is, they've hollowed out because humans are disgusting, and they use it as an umbrella stand. So he brought this umbrella stand down there and stomped right around the shore. The next day, he was like, oh my God, look at all these footsteps. because again, we're going off of it's on shore because people are framing it with King Kong, with what they saw with the Diplodocus.
Right.
They sent it to the local universities, found out like, hey, it's a hippo foot, because no shit, because it was. Because
First of all, we got pictures of Steve walking around with a hippo leg, just
dude,
stomping them
and like,
around.
what's funny, his grandson still has that hippo foot umbrella stand because he got found out, and his son was an actor after the fact. His name is Colin, and he's like, "Yeah, I still got it." Close. This one's dead. So, because
jeez,
Marmaduke was born in like 1870. He died in like 1946.
all right.
But
Jeez,
yeah. So, and then when he got found out for that, he said it's a seal, and he left town. He was like, all the sightings are a seal, which also makes no sense. And then came back, stole the Daily Mail, knew that it couldn't be him. So this is where the infamous surgeon's photo comes from, which I love that it's called the surgeon's photo because it's not a surgeon's photo. It's from an OBGYN. So it's a pussy doctor photo.
I was about to say, don't put this on the screen. And he just said the P word. So yeah, it's like.
So
and then Slut just dropped a massive comment, and I don't know what's going on. I'm going to walk away for like a half a second. I'll be right back. Too much P bombs and everything else going on.
So yeah, it's like 1934. Robert Kenneth Wilson, OBGYN, he gets approached by Marmaduke to do this picture so he can put it in the Daily Mail. It actually doesn't even become that successful in the Daily Mail, which is the funny thing. And it's what we have in our minds is that picture of Nessie, a black and white picture, is the most cropped photo I think fucking ever. Because if you look at it uncropped, it looks like what it is. It's a toy submarine that they got from the Woolworths with wood putty for a neck. Yeah, and it was not that famous, became famous. People got more interested in Nessie after the fact. 1975, his son confirmed it was a hoax in the Sunday Telegraph. Nobody really paid attention to it, so he said like, "Oh, submarine and wood putty, whatever." It wasn't kind of discovered that he said that until the 90s. Until 1993, when Discovery had the uncropped photo, and it looks hilarious whenever it's uncropped because it looks like a toy there. And then they also found the Sunday Telegraph article from his son saying like, "Oh, it's fake." And
so we had someone come in. Fun fact: some monsters have a medical condition in which it is actually impossible to take a cohesive picture of them, such monsters include Sasquatch, the Loch Ness Monster, and Mike Wazowski.
Mike Wazowski.
I love when they rebooted X-Files, they did a joke about that where like Mulder has a phone and he can't use it and he's trying to take a picture or something and he's just like, "Oh, I can't take this picture." Yeah, it's great.
Shit's real, man. Shit's real. Boston's up by I don't give a shit.
Yeah, Loch Ness itself can't support a giant animal like that. Doesn't have enough life. It is goddamn barren. Yeah.
But so we've already come to the conclusion that you've decided that Bigfoot is real, right?
Loch Ness is not.
But you say Loch Ness is not. Well, how do you
we gotta get a chance
respond to this picture of Bigfoot riding the Loch Ness Monster?
Oh, that's great. That's a surgeon's photo with an edited. Oh, that's so great.
I mean, it looks legit to me. The shadows line up and everything. So
I'm just a basic dude. You know, what do you say? I'm just a girl living in a.
I'm just a small town girl living in a lonely world.
Yeah. Every time I go live, that's what he says. So yeah, no, it's like, all right.
Yeah, well, you were on there today. You're like, yeah, no, I just grew up in a small town. Yeah, no, we know you're a small town girl living in a lonely world. You're here telling me, oh, I just grew up in a small town.
Oh God.
No,
I
it's
just grew up in a small
from
town, the colony.
Kentucky
It's
with
just
those
so
blue
small.
people.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're gonna rule out Nessie. I always call it Nelly for some reason. Nessie.
Mhm.
So
Nellie's real. Nellie's real.
but
Nellie's real, yes.
like Champ though,
Okay.
like there's a chance.
Helen just said, okay, now I'm convinced. How can you fake
So-
that middle finger? Yeah.
So Champ, I will say that there have been the first sightings are back in the 1800s. This isn't something that is.
I got like a whole wall of this stuff. Like
This
every time
isn't
there's a sighting,
started.
they melt it down.
Yeah,
And
this
they're
isn't
all
started.
nothing recent from that. They're all older.
I mean, there were 1977 is probably the most famous photo. It's a log. It's definitely a floating log that this person took picture of, but it looks like
It's a log.
plesiosaur or something. They did a recreation with Discovery Channel, and it's most likely a log. I will say because of what was discovered way after the fact. So there are all these sightings of people seeing humps, people seeing things come up. My dog's coming right at me. But I think really saved it for me of my interest in things were there were two cryptozoologists, Katie Elizabeth Dennis
So
Hall.
when you say
Yeah.
cryptozoologist, what does that mean?
So a cryptozoologist is a zoologist, which is the study of animals, and crypto animals that
Bitcoin,
don't have
Ethereum.
like a cryptid. So they it's I don't know the Latin root. I wish I could go get my wife. But yeah, it's things that might not exist. But it
Okay.
also includes Lazarus species, which Lazarus species are species that we thought were extinct and come back. That is
Okay.
included under cryptozoology. The coelacanth is a great example, caught off Madagascar. We thought it was extinct for millions of years, and then a fishing trawler pulled it up, and that is the Lazarus species. It predates the sharks. It looks like a little fish with legs. It's incredibly strange.
So we got
So
two
that
people.
is
We
it.
got Dylan said it's a person who keeps Bitcoin in cages, which is not. But then Alan said yes, animals not yet defined by science.
Mm.
And he said yes,
There we
that
go.
fish is amazing.
Yeah, not yet defined, includes Lazarus species as well. There's, if going to the beer world, Bissell Brothers in Portland, Maine. If you go there, I highly recommend. 2 doors down is the International Cryptozoology Museum, run by Lauren Coleman. And when I say run by, he owns it and he runs the front desk every friggin' day.
Okay.
And it's when you walk in, they have a big Sasquatch thing, and they're 2 doors down from a beer place, or a brewery, and they have a bunch of cans, and they
Okay.
have a 903 Sasquatch can right there. It's great.
Exactly what we're having tonight.
Yeah,
903
it's wonderful.
Sasquatch. Beautiful, beautiful beer. We're thoroughly enjoying this. So that's up in Maine.
Yeah, it's up in Portland, Maine. Yeah, at the International Cryptozoology Museum.
I've been wanting to go up there for so long. I want to go to Maine. I've only when I go up to the Northeast, the only place I've ever been in the Northeast is like Manhattan. That's it. I haven't been to Boston. I haven't been anywhere else. I haven't been to Vermont or anything like that. And so that's the, and we love, I was talking about this earlier on the stream. It's like, we love Halloween. We love fall time. And it's like, I really want to go in like September, October, November. And like just knock out maybe several of these places if I can, if I have to drive or something like that. So
then you're going to be fighting with the leaf peepers.
That's
all the people driving up from New York, New Jersey, Illinois, from Vermont. So yeah, like
leafers, man. I don't want to deal with those people.
Yeah, but if you go to the Northeast, I think Vermont, New Hampshire, and Portland did it for my friend's bachelor party. We did it in 3 days. It was great.
Okay. All right.
But all right, so Champ. I will say that everything changed, at least for me, in 24 because there are all these sightings, and I think most lake monster sightings in North America are sturgeon. I really think that because people don't understand how large sturgeons can be.
Quite large.
In the Fraser River, which also goes through, God, from Washington, I think, down to Colorado, because my cousin lives in Fraser, Colorado, so I assume it's there. Anyways, they caught one that was almost 13 feet long 2 years ago.
Oof.
The record for a sturgeon is a beluga sturgeon caught in the Volga River, which is central Russia. It was 23 feet long.
23 feet.
That was in the
Jesus
1800s.
Christ. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So 1800s. So they were 23 feet. But nowadays, you have somebody 2 years ago who caught one that was 12 feet. Like, imagine a 12-foot fish in the water
No thanks.
is just beyond me. I kayak fish. My kayak is 13 foot, and it's considered one of the bigger kayaks. Like, I can go out miles into the ocean. I can go out for mahi 6 miles off if
No
we want to
thanks.
go off of Florida. Yeah. So
No.
it's
So many gators, sharks, everything else out there. And not to mention, if they're talking about these kind of monsters, I go out to the lake all the time, like here in Texas, but I'm still just terrified of something that's that big in the water because I don't know.
So
And plus, there's bodies out there.
I pulled
you
up
look at the biggest
sturgeon.
gar, it's 8 feet. Yeah.
Yeah, an 8-foot gar, I'd lose my ass.
So here's a sturgeon, like someone holding a sturgeon. Look on your screen.
Oh, okay.
Like
Yeah.
that's massive.
They're a fucking dinosaur. They
Yeah, no
they
thanks.
live over 100
Big-ass
years
fish.
old. So I think most of the sightings, with the exception of Champ and Ogopogo, are probably sturgeons. Because I think every famous lake has one of these cryptids. I think it's mostly giant lake sturgeon, giant white sturgeon.
So
With Champ,
you say Ogopogo, and like, so I was looking at a bunch of videos today, and like I'm pulling up these videos where people are like,
It's
Ogopogo
party.
sighting, right? And you see it, and it's like a wave, right? And
Yeah.
it's a long wave, but you don't ever see anything in all the videos that I looked at today. You don't ever see anything pop up, right? It's almost like it's just kind of like a wave that's kind of going on, a weird wave. Who's to say it's not a sturgeon? It's not I mean, how there's so many snakes that can go in water.
Oh God.
So
Right?
I think it's an undiscovered species of eel. I think that's what Ogopogo is. I think it's a giant eel. Like they get giant eels in the UK. People go fishing, you catch like a 7-foot eel, not a moray or anything like that, but you can just catch one off a pier. I think based on there was one famous picture of Ogopogo where it looks like just a series of humps.
Mhm.
Looks like an eel. There have also been people saying like, oh, it's a bunch of river otters together. Maybe. There are also people, I mean, like some of the pictures might be, but some of the pictures that are in videos that are moving in tandem, I think is more consistent with a freshwater eel. So we have the only North American eel that we know of is the American eel, and it's endangered. So they have their babies in freshwater, and we know that they call them elvers. And there's a big industry with catching elvers with sieves to send them to China to do whatever. But the adults are all out at sea. So Lake, was it Onganakan? I think that's it. It's a First Nations name I probably can't pronounce. That where Ogopogo is. I
Okay.
think it may be a single entity where we have the entire life cycle occurring in this lake. Where in America, we only see the baby eels when they come out. We don't know what the eels do whenever they go out into the open sea. They go into the middle of the fucking Atlantic, the American eels. So I think what we're seeing in Lake Honkonakan is probably an entire life cycle happening. And we are seeing adult breeding populations of an endangered species because the American eel is endangered, but it's still in such great numbers that it's fished every single year by the tens of thousands, we're seeing something even less than that have its full life cycle in this lake that nobody goes to. Because again, most of Canada is below the 55th parallel. Like nobody lives up there. Nobody is seeing this full life cycle happen.
And you got to be careful because, like, my biggest thing is like when you start Googling Ogopogo, majority of the pictures that come up are Pokemon.
Well, it's also the picture you posted as well that I noticed that popped
No,
up.
but yeah, right. But like, I was just pulling up like working because I was wanting to verify, you know, where you were saying because you're like, I think it's this, but it might not be. And like literally like almost like 90% of the pictures that you pull up are Pokemon. It's all Pokemon related. So there's a Pokemon name something similar to that. We'll have to look through Rapid Dave's pops later to find out because he's got all the Pokemon pops.
If you're lucky.
All like 700 of them now.
If you're lucky.
You just gotta catch them all.
Gotta catch them all, man.
So
I will say, can I give?
No, yeah, go for it.
Oh, I was gonna say I'll give my Nessie no, Ogopogo maybe. I think it's a large kind of freshwater eel that we haven't discovered yet.
Which is still a monster though.
Still a monster because you see like an 8-foot eel. Right? That's fucking terrifying.
Yeah, I'm out on that.
Champ is where it gets super interesting, I think. So I have the tattoo of Champ as the lake monster. I'm not sure if Champ is that.
He's reading like the New York Times article about Deshaun Watson, right?
Oh yeah, it's well, my wife's a cartographer, so I thought it would be funny to have Champ reading a map of Vermont like she was lost.
Nice.
So I thought that'd be funny. My wife, who makes maps for a living, being lost in Vermont, which is her home, and she's in the other room, probably hearing all this. But yeah, 2014, there were 2 cryptozoologists for amateur zoologists for creatures don't exist, and they were with Discovery Channel. When the Discovery Channel is with you, they give you a blank check. So they're like, fuck it, let's get a dolphin ear hydrophone, which is also expensive, and they have a long range, and they dip it in this section. I will say, Elizabeth Hall is one of the cryptozoologists. She thinks it is a species of dinosaur, and she is insane. She calls it Tanny. She doesn't call it Champ. She calls it Tanny, but it's it's such a large species of dinosaur. So when she gets these readings, she doesn't believe it, and she thinks it's something else because they dip the hydrophone, this dolphin ear hydrophone, into the water with the Discovery Channel, and they get a series of clicks. Where in the world of hydrophones, I'm from the coast, so I kind of understand this. With toothed whales, they speak in clicks. It's whenever you hear large baleen whale or something, it's like, but toothed whales are. So they had what's called a train of clicks, and it was kind of unexpected for them because she was expecting something like it. She's looking for a dinosaur. There's a train of clicks, which is most specific to a beluga whale. Which
Thunder. Thank you so much for the raid. I apologize here. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. I saw you come in here. What is going on? Thank you so much. Welcome in, Raiders. We have Lee Knox here. We're talking about Bigfoot, Nessie, Champ,
Ogopogo.
Having some fun.
Boingo.
Thank you so much.
So Alan asked us, he said, Radiolab did a great episode on those eels and how no one knows where they go. Also, when you get a chance, ask about dinosaurs in the Congo.
Oh,
yeah, that I mean, I've looked into it for the fact that there was like a movie when I was a kid called The Last Dinosaur about a dinosaur in the Congo.
No, yeah, The Last Dinosaur. That's I wish I could find that. It's not streaming anywhere anymore. It used to be on Netflix years ago, but I know what movie you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's so close to Ogopogo that I confuse it. But yes, they have a name for this dinosaur in Congo. But unfortunately, that area has also been in heavy conflict for the last 30 years. So if it's there, it's fucking gone.
Yeah. Yeah, that movie, Alan said that movie was insane. And then Thunder said, nice, I did a podcast on this topic about a year ago. I'm really interested in it. Yeah, and so are we. Like, it's
If he wants to send me that podcast link, I would love to listen to it.
Yeah.
So if he wants to pop it
you
in
can
chat,
drop that in here. You can actually drop it in here or send it to him directly. It's up to you.
yeah.
okay,
Or
cool.
send it to us and we'll get it over to him.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Any of those options work. Thunder.
Yeah, my Twitch is 69 Lee 69 because I'm always 13 years old.
Who's not?
Yeah.
And every time we see you comment, we laugh.
Yeah, I giggle every time.
Yeah.
Thunder said, but when I brought up Bigfoot, I got so much hate.
That's
not me.
That was the first hour of the show was Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody effing around in here.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We highly discussed the critically acclaimed documentary Harry and the Hendersons. I mean, come on, do you need any more proof than that? I'm just saying. No, but seriously.
But it's like the hydrophone with Lake Champlain. It's funny, like Elizabeth Hall, one of the researchers on this, she's like, well, this isn't champ, this is definitely a beluga or something like that. But my answer is like, maybe it's both. Maybe it's the same thing. Because we have fossil records in Lake Champlain that there were whales there 10,000 years ago. We knew that it was brackish water. There are whale bones in Lake Champlain. So it connects to the St. Lawrence River, but not really because it's mostly creeks. But during floods, maybe if there was a monumental flood that a beluga subspecies adapted to, maybe it's only a few members. Because if you are familiar with geography, down the St. Lawrence River, it's pretty far to get to Montreal, like pretty goddamn far, hundreds of miles. A beluga was sighted 2 years ago in the old harbor in Montreal. Like they saw it there. A beluga whale was there. Yeah, so there's the possibility. I'm not sure if it's like a population. Lake Champlain is also gigantic. Hold on, let me look at my notes. Because there's like an island in the middle of Lake Champlain that is a goddamn town that is like bigger than Richardson.
Well, this guy's he does so much research, and he's got pages and pages of notes.
Yeah, Alan's like, I watch this show, man. You should check it out. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah, 490 square miles. That is Lake Champlain. 490 square miles.
Damn.
If something happens in the middle of Lake Champlain, like, who's gonna fucking see it?
Yeah,
I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't have video.
And Vermont and northern New York are so sparsely populated. Like when I went to Burlington and looked out on Lake Champlain, whenever we were there, it was like we saw no fucking boats in the entire lake.
Sure it is.
What he said, Burlington. I thought he was talking about the Coke Factory.
It was the Coke Factory.
No. I think it's
God.
the same place though. I think Burlington Coke Factory started there. I think so.
That's right.
Oh,
That's right.
see, it's not so
Kill
outrageous
me
now.
now. Just kill me now.
So,
hey, there's the first thing of African American Adam.
No, you can say black. It's called Black Adam. You don't have to be that guy.
Well, Tongan Adam. I'll call him Tongan
Like,
Adam.
I used to work with a guy from Ethiopia. I used to work with a bunch of Ethiopians and Sudanese, and it was this country girl from Princeton. He used to kept on like, well, you know, they're African American. I'm like, Anwar has been here for like 6 months. He's just African. You could
He's
just
just
call
an
him
African
African.
dude, man.
Yeah. I'm like,
That's
like it's Anwar. Like he's our friend. He's from Africa. Just call him African.
Yeah. That's like my son. His best friend's an African. Like their family's from Africa and stuff like that. So it's like, okay, yeah.
It's like Steve over there. He was born over in freaking Richardson.
Yes.
He's there's nothing African about.
Thanks so much,
Steve.
Thunder. I appreciate it. Yeah, no, we're so ass in on the end of this, man. It's crazy. We're so close to being done.
So let's talk about this. So you've got Bigfoot, you've got the river monsters, like especially when you're talking about river monsters, right? So Loch Ness, Champ,
Well, Champ's
Oingo Boingo,
not a river monster. He's
all
in
of
the lake.
that. Well, okay, but
it was a
they're
river
all-
at one point.
they're
and
all
then-
considered river monsters when you talk about them as a
So-
whole. That's how they're classified,
if you
right?
watch the show on Discovery with that one dude that's out there trying to hook a bunch of, river monsters.
Okay, but hey, and Lee will. I got this. We got this message from Lee. He goes, "Be careful what you want on watch on Discovery because it's almost all clickbait, right?"
I would assume it all is.
Yeah, right. But so is there when you're talking about let's stick with the river. Is what do you have this kind of in between, like just a big fish and a river monster? Like, is there something that's kind of in between there that could be confused for like a river monster or something like that?
I mean, sturgeons, of course, because
Right.
we know they can get up to 20 feet long. So there's
ridiculous.
that. And then there's probably the Wells catfish as well, which is in Europe. Which Wells catfish can get to hundreds of pounds and are extremely long. And they're also predatory.
No thanks.
So they're not scavengers like our channel cats and blue cats eating the stink bait. So yeah, I mean, even in the ocean, love the ocean with all my heart, and I don't think megalodon exists because of the fossil records that we've seen, because the age of the teeth that we find, and we can find recent great white teeth. We can't find recent megalodon teeth.
Mhm.
However, the size of great white out there, I mean, we know more about the surface of the moon than we do about the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we have Deep Blue, I think it's her name. She's the largest great white ever on film. She was outside of a closed cage, and I believe they estimated her at something like 1,500 pounds or something like that.
No
I mean,
thanks.
that's just what we know. I mean, who knows what the top scale of great white is. We've never seen them mate. We don't know how great whites mate. That's insane.
They look all
to me.
scarred up, and it gets a little
Oh yeah,
rowdy.
they
like
get
peeing the feet,
scarred.
right?
We just have never seen it because we don't know what
Yeah.
depth it happens at.
Uh-huh.
Because all the tags, whenever you tag great white, they you only get a reading whenever they surface.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
when it gets towards surface, and it gets its satellite. So we don't know if whenever they're 800 meters beneath the surface doing whatever the fuck they do, they don't have to surface. They can eat whatever. And
They
yeah,
just want to
that's-
do bad things. That's it.
Yeah, they're
Smoke cigarettes.
banging below where light can hit them.
There you go.
And you said Wells catfish. I went and I pulled a picture of a Wells catfish, and
Yeah, they're
that's
fucking
that's what I'm
gigantic. And
getting. Like that's
They're
absurd.
predatory too.
That's
like,
a big
they're
guy.
not-
That's a big guy right there.
I'd shoot that thing with every single shotgun shell.
You're
I
not.
had,
What is it that they do in Oklahoma with the catfish?
Noodling?
You're not noodling that.
Yeah.
Nah,
You
you
stick your hand down there, you're losing it.
you noodle that, you're dying. Yeah.
Dude, how does Draymond Green not get thrown out of every effing game he's in?
He ain't getting thrown out of anything now. They're in the finals.
Because
He already said it.
he sells jerseys. That's
No
why.
one
He's
likes
not gonna get
Draymond
thrown
Green.
out.
No one.
Golden State fans like Draymond.
That's a low percentage of fans of.
Oh, there's a ton of Golden State
Jesus.
fans out there, brother.
Oh,
Ton.
dude, what a
Mhm.
flopper! Oh, dude, you're such a giant pea. Like he fell down.
He's
just
got
from being
very
a pea.
blue shoes on. His
Yeah.
shoes are very blue.
All right, sorry. We gotta
No,
get out.
no, you're good, man. I got the game on right over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so at the end of the day, Bigfoot's real.
I think Bigfoot is probably real. I think that it is, if I have to use probably, if what we're using for civil cases, which is above 51%, hashtag Johnny Depp's awesome. 51% for civil cases. I think that it's likely that a Bigfoot exists. I think that Champ, I think there is probably less than 50%, but I want to know what the fuck those sonar, like echolocation, like it was echolocation clicks. I think it's right there, 50%. Nessie, they're not a population to support that. I think it's below, 10%.
But there is
Ogopogo,
something out there, river monster like, Loch Ness monster like,
so
giant
there's
serpents.
there's a really
Right.
interesting YouTube video. I'll send it to you after this because I forget
Yeah.
the name. It's
Okay.
a marine biologist where he talks about all of the undiscovered marine species, and he uses a calculation where he calculates a percentage of megafauna within the ocean. And he says, there are this percentage, and we know that there are this many undiscovered species. So he believes there are 9 undiscovered megafauna. They're probably all squid or octopus, but something we have never seen before that are gigantic.
Alan,
And
when we get that link, we'll share it on our Facebook page. So when Lee
yes,
sends that over to
I'll
us,
send that to you afterwards.
we'll share it out.
Who
'cause
shares it on
Alan,
the Facebook page?
well, Alan's on Facebook. He says,
Oh.
"Oh, I want to watch."
Oh.
And when
I'll
you're
send
sharing
it
a
to
link,
Alan
it's easier
too.
on
Yeah.
Facebook, right? So yeah,
It's a
we'll
link.
share it out
on Twitter, man. Twitter's
Okay.
not that hard to
and
navigate.
Twitter too,
Jesus.
whatever.
I'm gonna
We'll-
share it on my.
we'll
my
share
mom
it
will
out.
love that link. My mom's gonna be super excited.
Your
about
mom hasn't watched this tonight.
it. Yeah.
Send it on
she's
MySpace.
abandoned
Oh
us
look, we
tonight.
got a Ranger fan in the house.
Paul Pierce.
No, the other guy behind him. Like some other.
We'll get you that link, Alan. We'll get that to you.
Shoot.
But go on, Lee.
No. That's it. That's what I want to explain. It's like there's an unknown, which is amazing. I mean, we discovered a new monkey 2 years ago
Right.
in the
And
water.
like,
Who knows what we're gonna discover?
you're talking about the water and stuff like that, and like one of my favorite week of the year is Shark Week. And Shark Week, the last several years, they have the show called Alien Sharks, where you've got that you got that guy. He's been on that for like the last 3 or 4 years or however long, and he's searching for these fish, these sharks, hardcore deep under the water.
Those ugly sharks.
But there's some where he's like, I'm looking for this shark. It's known to be extinct. Yeah, no, you're good. But this shark is known to be extinct.
He just got up and left, man. He's like, you know what? I'm done with this stuff.
He's lasted longer than both me and you.
I've been bowing out for a while here. You know what I mean? Like,
but and he sees these sharks. He sent us the message and we just ignored it.
Me too. Like, I gotta go. Me too.
And he's just like, I'm looking for this fish or this shark hasn't been sighted in 20 years.
Yeah.
But I think it's still there. And then he's searching for it. And then, lo and behold, he finds it.
That was a quick one. Jesus, he's back there.
There we go.
It's close. Hold on.
My bathroom's like on the other side of the room. So yeah we're good.
But the alien sharks, you got the guy where he's looking for these fish and these sharks. And he's like, well, this shark this fish is thought to be extinct for 20 years now, but I think it's still there. And
he's found sharks.
He finds them, right? And he's like, this is actually the first time this one's ever been caught, ever, right? Yeah. And you're dealing with the water, with the ocean and the depths, and they go super deep, So there's definitely stuff out there that we haven't discovered, we haven't found.
Stranger things.
Oh yeah, I mean, we discovered the 6-gilled shark within the last 30 years. I mean, we're only now kind of grasping how long the Greenland shark lives, because the Greenland sharks now we're finding out live over 150 years.
That's insane.
Yeah, and like now research. I mean, I work in oncology, so there's a lot of research into sharks because sharks don't really get cancer.
Yeah.
And so they're looking into that. So sharks and lobsters and their biology for
So, so,
lobsters can feasibly live forever. So yeah.
Oh,
so,
nice.
so you say sharks, lobsters don't get cancer. So was it known that fish, squid, shrimp, I mean,
I mean,
and,
shrimp
and, and
shrimp can
lots of
definitely
other,
get cancer. Yeah. I
like
mean, after the oil spill in the
monkeys,
Gulf,
penguins.
yeah, most everything gets cancer. I don't think elephants. I don't think we've documented elephants, but yeah, shrimp absolutely. Most fish as well. You can find fish with tumors,
Oh, good.
especially yeah. But
Okay.
sharks and lobsters because they can shed their exoskeleton so many times up till their 23rd time, they can only get so big, so they die because their exoskeleton is just too small for them. But they can feasibly live forever. They can make another one.
There you go.
Well, you say live forever. Like,
If you can have a new exoskeleton every single time for a lobster, they will not die. Because the only reason they die is because they're still living and they're getting bigger, and their exoskeleton, they're shedding it 23 times over the course of their life. There are lobsters that are over 100 years old.
huh.
Whenever they get a certain size, you take a little clip out of their tail in the Northeast and lets other people know you cannot keep this lobster because
Huh.
they're so old, they're protected. Whenever you do that clip, they're protected.
Huh.
So whenever they get to their 23rd shed, that was where I guess it takes a lot more energy to get that last exoskeleton. And that is when generally when they die, when they're gigantic. But if you can find a way for them to make a bigger exoskeleton, maybe give them some whatever lobster version of HGH, then shit, maybe they keep on living because their body is fine.
Huh.
Yeah,
That's
it's
crazy.
lot of research into sharks and lobster.
Okay.
Their Medical College of Wisconsin, yeah, Memorial Sloan Kettering in New York, doing a lot of research on that.
Damn.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna wrap things up.
Damn, Lee. I mean, like at the end, I'm like just getting.
No, it's fine. And if you want to do a separate, another, I know we talked oncology because I work on oncology. The first time I
Yeah.
was on, there was a new study that came out of Memorial Sloan Kettering in New York. It was a pilot study for a checkpoint inhibitor, which is immunotherapy. 18 out of the 18 colorectal patients had their cancer disappear.
What?
Complete response. No surgery, no radiation.
I
So,
think I'd like to talk about that. Maybe a quick
yeah,
30-minute, like a 45-minute
if you
show.
want to talk in the next couple months about it's in the world of oncology, it is a tidal wave right now. Like everybody's talking about it. So, yeah,
Huh.
there's going to be a lot coming out. So, I'd love to come back in a couple months, talk about it, whatever.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
because that was my next question. Like, so we've talked oncology.
And
We
we're
talked
not only
cancer.
Wednesday nights either. We're Monday, Sunday, and Wednesday.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
whatever day.
Yeah.
We've talked aliens. We've now talked Bigfoot and Nessie. What is next? Like,
The saga continues.
and yeah, we'll definitely dive into this with oncology. But
Hmm.
so let's go away from the oncology because next is oncology, right? With what you
Hmm.
just talked about, right? But what is the next alien, Bigfoot, Nessie topic that we talk? Conspiracy theory, whatever. I do have a question to ask you after this. But
Hmm.
what's the next big thing out there that we got to talk?
I mean, I think it's probably the recent disclosures, and they just had a congressional hearing 2 months ago, or 2 months ago, 2 weeks ago, on UFOs in Congress, and then afterwards they had a closed session, and then in 2 weeks they're going to have the first ever UFO disclosure for the Congress in Brazil. And there's actually going to be a documentary released a couple months after the fact, because they're doing it in tandem, because they started making this documentary and then the government of Brazil said like, oh fuck, I guess we got to say something about it.
Oh, jeez.
So the next couple months are going to be insane in the UFO world. So that's yeah, that's it for that. Besides Lazarus species of birds, which I'm always into.
Okay. Alan comes in here with I'm guessing Mothman.
Yeah, Mothman, that's yeah, I can talk Mothman for forever, especially there are Joplin, Missouri, if you want to look up something cool. Look up the Joplin, Missouri butterflies
Okay.
or the Joplin, Missouri angels.
Okay.
Because when they got hit by you remember when they got hit by the F5 years and years ago?
Uh-huh.
And it destroyed like the entire town. Everybody in the town started seeing these human-sized butterflies.
That's insane.
And it was
DC fandom.
It was multiple. It was like multiple people on opposite sides of towns living in absolute carnage, and they would see this human-sized butterfly, and it would give them hope. And so that's why
That would
there
just terrify the shit out of me.
well, there are murals around town about them now. It became like it was because the tornado was so horrific.
Right.
So that has started a lot of conversations. And yeah, what happened in what was it, Point Pleasant in
Point Pleasant, West Virginia. Yeah.
Yeah, Point Pleasant. That's Mothman. So was trying to warn them about the bridge collapsing, and then after Joplin, it's just so interesting that they saw these butterfly or angels. They were more Christian of a town than Point Pleasant by percentage, so maybe they perceive them as angels. So there's a whole discussion on that. There was a great the Dallas Observer, the Village Voice version in Missouri, did an in-depth article on it, and they have drawings from the people. It's extremely cool.
Jesus.
But if I talk about it to people at work, be like, "Hey, you heard about those butterfly people in Joplin?" I'll lose my job.
Jesus. And then we have Ohio Grassman as well. That
Thunder said Ohio Grassman.
Looks like
Ohio Grassman. The Dover Devil. There are so many of these. Like,
it's a
one-offs.
It's a huge rabbit hole. And then Alan said, "And I found a new rabbit hole."
There you go.
So
I'll send y'all if you want. Send me an address. I'm going to send you a book.
Okay.
That is full of these kind of one-off stories this journalist collected, where it's just a bunch of one-off stories over 100 years.
All right, I got you.
Yeah, it's great. So I'll send it to you. It's amazing.
Okay, I'll send you my address.
It's right there. Strikeoutbeer@gmail.com.
Well, that's an email. That's not an address.
No, like
physical
it's a
address?
real book. Yeah.
I got you, Lee.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to send my address. Lizzie said no more.
I've got you there, but God bless, dude. This has been awesome. I can't wait for the next.
I got trashed off of 2 beers, and we're just like talking about.
But let me ask you this: Are you a comic book guy at all?
Yeah, I have my X-Men tattoo right there.
Okay, have you read or heard about the comic called Department of Truth?
I have not. No, I've heard of RIP. But it's the
check out
Cops from the Beyond. Yeah.
Check out Department of Truth, and what it is there's the Department of Truth that's out there, and just kind of the general way to think about this is there's a group out there that essentially, like, for all these urban legends, if you get enough people to believe about it, it becomes true.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a tulpa. Yeah.
So there's a group out there led by Lee Harvey Oswald
Oh God.
that's out there shutting this group down that's just trying to get people to believe all these conspiracy theories. And you're dealing with like the Lady in Red and Sasquatch and JFK and Flat Earth and things like that. James Tinian is the one who writes it, which he's a phenomenal writer. I love James Tinian. But yeah, check out Department of Truth. I think we're like 20 something issues in, so you can get like the trade paperback of the first
I got
few
it
things.
written down right here, so I'm gonna start downloading it tonight.
Yeah, that's when I think Department of Truth, I think Lee Knox. That's what I think.
Good.
So, but thank you so much, Lee, for joining us, man. We definitely appreciate it. We've had a great time. Cannot wait for the next episode. We'll hash it out. It's going to be the oncology, I think.
It's been
is what we're doing
It's been
next.
a year since we had him on the first time,
but
too,
it's
man.
not going to be a year before the next time. I'm just telling you that right now. It's yeah. We're getting.
And I got my office set up. I got my ring light and shit. So yeah,
living the dream, man. Living the
he's
dream.
got the headset on.
Yeah.
He's rocking it, man. Like when he messaged me, he's like, I got my office all set up. I'm ready, guys. I'm doing this.
Yeah.
So
Got my Ranger bobblehead. So wait, right there. Yeah.
There you
Ranger
go.
bobbleheads. I mean, what else do we need? We don't need anything, but hey, the pleasure's all on this side of the table, Lee. Thank you so much. Guys, give it up for Mr. Lee Knox.
All right. I'll see y'all next week in the chat.
All right, man. Can't wait.
See you, buddy.
All right. Later.
Thank you. Dude. One
Dude.
more for the road.
I mean, come on. You have to, right?
Dude. We went 30 something minutes over schedule, but it's always one of those late night shows. Like that's why I said, I go, you want me to dim the lights? Because we'll turn it out. We'll get it dark in here.
Here's what we need for the next time he comes on, and we're talking about this, right?
Almost
we're not going to cue this music up next time for we start talking about the oncology and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And the new advancements, right?
Yeah.
But the next time we bring him on, we're talking more like aliens and things. That old school coming in with nice job.
What's up, brother? How you doing? I missed the flight today. I feel so bad. I do.
Saw it when I saw it because Facebook sucks.
Yeah,
it was over, and I was like, "Well, that sucks."
My boss called me. I had to do a bunch of work, and I swear to God, because I even shared it out when you were like putting flight tickets out there for seats. I shared that out, but I did not make it back.
I saw it all after he was done, and I was like, I hate Facebook.
Old school wants a koozie. I just threw my
it.
pin over there, so now I gotta pick it up. Hey, send us your message me, whisper your address, because we got some new stickers and stuff like that. I gotta send you anyway. So
you new stickers.
You want a koozie? I got you a koozie. I'll get you some stickers.
Got you, brother.
And I'm gonna everybody that gets a koozie, I'm gonna pack. Are you getting part-time nerd stickers on you?
Yeah.
You brought those?
I just got a whole.
We got some new Rapid Dave stickers.
I didn't bring them with me, but
okay, that's fine.
If you give me the stuff, I'll mail it out.
Okay.
Either
Sounds
way,
good.
we'll get the stuff out to you.
Yeah.
But yeah,
we're so excited to see you. We really are.
But the next time we bring Leon, we need some sort of like X-Files type music.
It's over there. It's right effing
you
there.
have it?
It's right. It's included. It's in the damn Spreaker.
Okay.
So you see the little. Hold on.
Because that's what we need. Like
the whole time, I go, I'm gonna kill the light.
I mean, we gotta.
I go, I'm gonna kill the light.
So what do we got? Let's hear it. It's not bad. I mean, yeah, that's not. I was thinking like, hey, let's hit up the legendary artist, Mr. Dark Rizard.
Yeah,
and be like, hey,
we're just still some music. It's
fine.
fine.
Can you throw something together? I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll throw you something. Yeah. Can you throw something together? But yeah, so we're coming back, right? We got to come back.
Oh, tonight?
Yeah.
It's gonna be about. We're gonna be instead of 9, it's gonna be 9:30. We'll be back at 9:30.
We'll come back at 9:30 for Strikeout Beer After Dark.
Yep.
We're gonna talk some foosball.
Yep. Work on something for you on the music. Okay. We're not against that.
All right, Thunder. Hey, throw it together.
Not against that at all.
Hit us up.
You know this music is extremely quick. We have 50 seconds, so run us out of there because I got to get up and hit the button.
Thank you again so much to Lee for joining us. I mean, it's always great talking to him. The first time we talked about cancer research, that was awesome. He came back for aliens, and that episode was freaking fire. And then we talked about Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, Champ, Oingo Boingo, all of the river monsters. It was awesome. Cannot wait to have them on again. It's not going to be a year. It's not. It's just great times. But thank you guys so much. Thank you for the support. Thank you for coming in, watching, chatting, shares, likes, all that fun stuff. As always, I'm Alan.
I'm Rapid Dave.
We'll talk to you guys later. Deuces.